Hello, and welcome to part 7 of the mod making series for the mod Locked Loot Containers. This time I have plans to do it something possibly a little bit more complicated than what we've been doing, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of reading and research while I'm here or whatever. I mean, I don't have to do it on recording, but I might as well, I guess. The thing I'm probably gonna try and do is actually like replace the loot piles that I wanted to in game with the things that at the very least, the placeholders to make that actually like work, which I've never really done. But another mod, the one from Ralzar, Darker Dungeons, does do that to some extent. I don't know if it's exactly the same that I want to do it, but it's probably very close for the various light source and torches stuff. Changing some that are lit to custom ones that he has that are unlit, doused, whatever, torches, braziers, things like that. So I'm going to be trying to read that and stuff, which I'm probably going to be putting the code around here somewhere in this first main file for now, at least. Besides that, I was able to start recording a bit earlier. I wanted to actually record way earlier, like 4 or 5 hours earlier than this, if not even earlier. But I don't know. I just procrastinated, and then time flew by, and it was like, oh, great. One thing I did the past like hour was I went through my pretty giant list of music and picked out a bunch of stuff that I thought would, well, at the very least, it was like mostly not vocal stuff. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I'm gonna be doing stuff that's mostly possibly a lot of thinking or whatever you want to say, like reading, I want to listen to music, and kind of the thing that I've been doing is I haven't really been doing anything off camera for the actual modding part. And I really do like listening to music and stuff when I'm doing this kind of thing. Maybe not so much the commentary, but the actual like coding part and stuff and researching whatever. So I'm gonna listen to some music that I made a little playlist, well, a pretty big playlist of a bunch of songs that I thought were appropriate, sort of, for this kind of thing. And you're gonna have, I mean, I could shut it off for you, but I don't think that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna put it on, and we'll see how the volume is at the end of the day. I don't know. If it's terrible, I'll still upload it and not really give a shit, but I think it should be okay. It's gonna be fairly low, probably. Um, but we will start right now. I'm not gonna be announcing every song name unless I think it's pretty cool or something. You could ask me in the comments for a song name, and I'll try to find which one it was and give you the name if you want it. Um, but for most of them, I'm not gonna say their name. But I will say it for this first one, just because what the hell. This one is from Yoshi's Story on the N64, and it's called "Come Back to Me." Very nice. And now I have a playlist, so I don't have to be wasting so much time um going through it or whatever, changing songs. All right. So what we want to do, and let me put this over there. I'm probably not going to be doing too much like in one sitting here because I do want to record I do want to get this uploaded for scheduled for upload tomorrow, as well as the Daggerfall DOS Let's Play, which I want to play. So maybe 30 minutes, 45, I don't know. Whatever the hell I get to, I guess. See how the wind blows as usual. So here's the part of the code in Darker Dungeons that I think will be useful. Which You know, it's not always easy to read through somebody else's code, depending on how they do their thing. And I'm not saying this is not easy. It's easier than some, that's for sure. But I still have a hard time following some people's stuff sometimes. You know, you always think about it like you would do it differently, and then you're like, oh, why is it like that? I would do that so much different, organizationally or something. Oh, yeah, and with the music, these were all like ones that I just recorded myself, basically. This is like way, like years ago or months, whatever, like, yeah, definitely years ago. Um, some of them I normalized the audio in like a batch to make some, so they're like, some aren't super loud and some are super quiet, some aren't super quiet and stuff. But a lot of them I didn't, so just be prepared. If it's like ear blowing for me, then I'll definitely lower it. So just be aware if I don't, so hopefully don't jump scare you with some of these songs. If it jump scares you, it's definitely gonna jump scare me, so. Because I have the volume like half for the Audat for the OBS, and the volume itself really low for the actual song part as well. So hopefully it shouldn't blow your ears out. Man, what am I, fucking DJ? So Browsar did it in a way that, let's see what the next song is. Or let's just listen. Gimmick. The 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 NES game Gimmick. Why am I saying the second one? I think I'm some fucking radio host, some shit. What an asshole. But the game object for the list thing here for light objects, he did it where I think light objects have a specific type, possibly, but they might just be game objects. They're probably just game objects instead of something special like loot containers, possibly. That's probably why he did it like this, because I think potentially this actually checks for like every game object in the scene, which, you know, is not necessarily a big deal if you're just doing it like once instead of like, you know, dozens of times or whatever. But then he does something similar to what I'm doing, basically the same kind of deal, where he's doing a for each loop. Am I doing a for each loop or a for loop? I'm doing a for loop. Yeah. I like for loops better. I understand them better. Well, I sometimes you want to do for each, obviously, but in my case, I'm okay with the for loop. And then filtering it out afterward, but we'll have to see. But he's doing a for each game object in that list. And that's the individual objects in light objects. And then if the individual object dot name dot starts with Daggerfall Billboard texture 210, which I don't know exactly what that is. I'm guessing it's probably any torch, like a lit torch texture, probably. Or maybe it's texture 210, which is like every light. You know what? Why don't we just check instead of making assumptions. Apps and Daggerfall imaging, and we should see in textures. Archive? Yeah, archive 210 is probably all the lights. And indeed it is. Yeah. So he's checking for anything that is within this archive, which is basically all the light sources in the game. Interesting. I didn't know some of them were actually, like, already doused versions. That's pretty neat. Like these two chandeliers. That's cool. And these, like, two magic lantern looking things. Huh. So he didn't have to do that much extra work. Well, at least for some of them. But yeah, he's checking for anything that has that texture archive record. Or texture archive. Yeah, texture archive, not the record. Like, the main thing that is, what I need to know is how I'm going to actually, like, import the new texture that I'm going to be using for the chest, like, which is going to be completely custom texture in this case. Right now, like I said, I'm not going to do any model or anything for now. I'm just going to do a sprite billboard for testing purposes at least, and maybe the final thing too, but I don't know. Let's see. That's the main thing I'm looking for, and I'm sure, or at least I know for some of these, Ralzar had to do custom textures because you could look. He has a textures folder, and yeah, I'm pretty sure all these are basically all custom textures, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or they're texture replacements, but I'm pretty sure most of them are new textures. So he definitely does that somewhere. And that's the main thing that I need to know. The rest of it I generally could figure out, but I've never done that kind of thing yet. Sort of. I've done texture replacements, but not, like, not adding in new textures into the world. Or, yeah, something like that. Like, I've added new textures, but not into the game world sort of deal. And if it's not obvious, when I get really quiet, it's because I'm reading or thinking. Yeah, I'm obviously gonna have to do save data later, or at some point, but I'm not doing it now. No way. That's, for me, it's always, generally, it's always a later thing. Even though a lot of times save data is, like, not that hard, it's just like, kind of weird and intimidating in its ways, even if it's not actually that hard. Maybe I'll look up just like import or something, because I'm not really following. Well, okay, maybe I am following it. Um, so this is when it just checks for whenever there is a texture or a billboard that there's an object that has a name with billboard texture, and then it's of that archive 210, which is all the lights in the vanilla game. And then it does this other stuff, but let's just assume it wants to turn the torch into a custom doused version, not lit version. So it has the object. This is the game object in question, the light, or whatever it is. And then does douse the method with the light object as a argument. We got douse light here, and then light object. Let's see what happens there. Light type int. I think that's a method, which probably just tells it which thing to use, I would assume. Yeah. Yep. Now, Ralzar did it in a way here, which, you know, you could do whatever way you want it to. I would have done a, oh, what's it called? The hell is it called? Which a thing that I use a lot. Let me find it. A switch case, that's it. Switch case. But it doesn't really matter that much, end of the day. And return 1. 6, 16, 17. It's probably like a, yeah. Torch, candle, lamp. Yeah. And then it gives a return value, which I assume would be a one of his custom unlit versions. And then if that value is greater than 0, that means it's a valid thing. Okay, now we're kind of getting somewhere. And then he has this light object, get component. Light object dot get component. Daggerfall action. Voids dousing tree. Okay, yeah, so that's not equal. Oh, so I see. Is that if it finds a component that has the Daggerfall action attached to it, such as if a light is or a torch is a door trigger or whatever the hell, or a magic trigger or whatever, it'll not do anything to it, less to, you know, avoid soft locking people and bugging stuff out. So that's where that's done. But then if light object does not equal null. Okay. Light billboard dot transform game object. Daggerfall billboard, light billboard equals light object dot get component Daggerfall billboard. It's not equal 8. Set material. Uh-huh. Huh. What? Huh. Interesting. This might possibly be a way that I could do this. Like, I don't know how, honestly, I assume that most of those people don't even have any scripts attached to their, mods. Stuff that replaces, like, the 2D billboard stuff with, 3D objects, such as hand-painted models and stuff. That's my assumption. Because with hand-painted models, at least with the objects that are in billboards, like the loot piles that it replaces the texture for, or whatever, yeah, I guess you could say the texture, whatever, it replaces the texture with a model. They still follow you as if they're a billboard behavior, even though they're a 3D model. So my assumption is that it's just possible to replace, like, which I don't know why I'm saying it's possible. I'm almost 100% sure that's the case, that you could just replace a 2D billboard sprite with a 3D model by just putting it in the textures folder or something like that. I don't know, a prefab or some shit. That's just my assumption. Because, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably overcomplicating it, but Raulzar's doing something here. Set material. I need to see what that does. Because I'm pretty sure material just means like the texture basically. So he's changing the texture or the billboard texture from whatever light he is replacing or turning into a douse version. With his own. And I guess that set material is probably the texture record, maybe. And then light billboard summary. Where's that light billboard? Summary.record. And then it's using the same record as that. I see. Instead of hard coding the record name. Okay, that seems straightforward enough. But to attach other things to it, I don't know. I mean, maybe not, because at least in theory, if it just has the texture record, then it should have activator stuff attached to it too, maybe. What is it, the registered activation stuff? Maybe. But I guess the first thing is to see if just doing set material does what I'm thinking it's doing. So I'll just try and do something like that, I guess. In that case, I will put that little bookmark thing there for now. I like having the music on, but I'm surprised it is surprisingly distracting in some ways, or maybe it's just making it easier for my mind to just kind of wander and zone out for like a few moments here and there when I'm trying to just like read or think or whatever. It certainly does make it easier for your mind to wander compared to just being in complete silence besides your own voice or whatever, and the background noise of like my fan or whatever. But we'll see how it is in the end for the recording, and I'll probably still keep it, honestly, because just, I don't know, it just makes it more easy for me to say, like, okay, I want to do this right now, and I'm okay doing this for like an hour, 30 minutes, whatever I need to do, just to start it. That's the important part, is just starting. Even though I haven't gotten, like, basically shit done. I mean, I have, because I'm like, oh, okay, game object dot set material, and then set your record and or your index, or what's it called, the archive number and record number and such. That's what it seems like, at least. But yeah, I'm not sure what happens if you register custom activation with something such as, well, in this case, it's supposed to be a sprite, but I just, for some reason, have the model one right now. The overload for the model one. But I don't know if just setting the material changes that. I'm guessing not. But I don't know. I'll have to figure out how that works, obviously. Like, if I could somehow just, like, tell it, oh, yeah, it's replacing this, but also make it give it that activation, custom activation thing. Somehow, I don't know. That I would likely have to ask or some shit. Possibly, at least. I think I do have find objects of type loot piles. Now, loot piles is Daggerfall loot. But I might actually want their game objects, but I might be able to just get the game objects as their parent or something. Most likely gonna need game objects rather than loot pile type. The game object this component is attached to. A component is always attached to a game object. Yeah, hopefully that works. And then like, not set material. I don't know. That. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Um. I mean, I don't even know where set material is coming from. I feel like that's like a Unity thing. Or maybe not. Daggerfall Billboard. That's the type it's actually. Okay. Okay. So I need Daggerfall Billboard as the type. Okay, fair enough. Daggerfall Billboard. Loot file Billboard. I don't know. Loot file Billboard. Equals loot piles I dot game object dot get component, I think. Get component. Okay. Can't believe it's already been over 30 something minutes. Like, it's crazy. Really, man, it is crazy when you start doing like coding. Even if you're like not doing much, it's just the time is just like it just whizzes right by. It's nuts. All right, so loot pile billboard dot set material. Yeah, so this is like a this is a Daggerfall Unity thing. Set new Daggerfall material and recreates mesh. Will use an atlas if specified in Daggerfall Unity singleton. No clue what that means. Well, I think I might know what it means actually. An atlas being like a sprite sheet? No, probably not. I don't know what it is really. Not gonna lie. Set material frames. You can have probably animated ones. That's what it makes me think, which is cool. Possibly. Neat. Damn. Damn, son. This is quite the complicated method. But that's good, I guess. More complicated, the hopefully more stuff it does resolves on its own. I don't know. Box collider, add NPC trigger. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see what the fuck happens with the registered actions and stuff. I don't know why I keep worrying about that. I haven't even gotten replaced, but that's just making me think, like, I hope so. But we'll have to see. Alright, so an archive and a record. So, in that case, we are going to want to actually, you know, make a texture. Or whatever, use a texture. Add a texture to the, mod here. Just textures. Yeah, I did that because I can't spell textures that well, or I always feel like I spell it wrong for some reason, even though I usually don't. Textures, and let's see what the naming convention is. Again, that's like, the archive, 540, and then the record, and then what was the other thing for? The other 0 at the end. I guess that's the frame. If you have multiple... Yeah, I think that's the frame. If you have multiple animations, most of the time it's going to be 0, though. I believe. But yeah. Let me check the DFU forums. To see if there is a list. Resource register. I think there is. Virtual image archives. Yeah. Okay. What were mine? 800 and something? Yeah. And what the hell was my other ones? I think I made more? Or no, maybe that was for the actual items, yeah. What numbers to use now? I might as well just continue on with the 4000s, I guess. Fuck it. Or something. Eh, maybe not. Maybe I'll do like 8. Uh, 810. 810 or something. Yeah, probably like 810 or some shit. Okay. So, 810. And I think here I had a bunch of textures. Even though it could be anything, obviously. And yes, you're not seeing wrong. I did add a I did add some sex toy sprites, even though they look terrible, with the idea that there would be a bunch of like different things that in my, what was it, the big overhaul thing I was doing or whatever. Or I was just having a bunch of fun with adding items and stuff in, like these instruments and shit. So yeah, don't act like you're special by seeing that. Ooh. And now that I mentioned it, everybody definitely saw that. Where was it? Furniture? No, it was, or maybe it was. Well, trunk, that would definitely work. Wasn't there one like containers? I had it. Yeah, containers. Yeah. I want one that's pretty obvious so I could see it. Even though I wouldn't really want to use this one, probably, but, let's use this Lockbox 3 one. It's all green and stuff, oxidized, whatever. And we'll just, oh, this song has vocals. Oh, well. It's a pretty decent song. Sonic Adventure 2, Battle, Eggman. Ah. There we go. So we'll just call it 8, 8, 10, I guess. Yeah. Start simple. 8, 10. Eight, 10. Record would be 0. Now did Ralzar have to do anything special with that? I don't think so, but it doesn't look like it. Because I assume maybe if you import the mod, it imports the textures. I hope. I've done this before, kind of, but replacements, not so much. Just, not so much loose, but just, I don't know, by themselves, but I don't know. Hopefully that is the case, I would think. Like, let's see what archive pulls from. Oh my god, I have no clue what this is doing. Well, I just gotta hope, I guess, that it... Wait, is this even the right one? I don't think that's the right method I was looking at. Set material, there it is. Or not. I guess it's a different set material. Hold up. Where the hell was that? Archive. I guess it was. Mesh renderer, get component. Well, no. That's not that. What I'm looking at. Get static billboard material. Gets custom material for static billboard with textures imported from mods. Hello. Alright. So I'm guessing the way I'm assuming it works is actually how it works, the way I'm looking at it. That's the hope, at least. I don't know. We'll just have to see, I guess. As is everything. So Ralzar here. If that does not equal null, If... Yeah, let's do that too, because prevent some potentially unnecessary errors and stuff. Possibly. Usually a good idea to do that. Because maybe it doesn't have a Daggerfall Billboard component, then you'll have an error, so you don't really want that. You'd rather just not do anything, basically. But after that, blah blah blah. What the hell is this? Candle? Oh, this is because he was having issues with the candle scale or something, so that's not, or at least right now it's not pertaining to me, but who knows? Maybe later it will, if I have similar problems or something. And this looks like it's all other stuff related to lights. Maybe. So, at least right now, if I'm lucky, this might be all I need to actually see the replaced texture in game. And this is just there because that was an example, obviously, before. But this is at least, I'm gonna have to, this texture, I'm gonna have to properly import it into Unity later on, when I actually plan on testing and launching it and everything. And then change the texture metadata settings so it doesn't look blurry, but that's, once again, not like a big deal. Well, at least what I'm looking at, the idea here is that any, and there's no roll here, so it would actually, in this case, be trying to replace any random treasure container type that is in the current dungeon scene. That is in a cemetery, actually. Yeah, I forgot about that part. But that's okay. Just makes it more, discriminates more on the place for right now. But at least in theory, any cemetery dungeon I go into, every random treasure pile generated in there, or, you know, whatever, any treasure pile generated in there will have its billboard replaced, or have the material set to my custom lockbox chest texture here, instead of whatever it has. And in that case, since I have a number right now, I might as well try and change this register custom activation stuff. And see if that works, because I have no clue. I have a feeling it won't, but hopefully it does. That'd be cool. I don't know how it would, but I don't know. Possible. It'd be cool if it did, but not gonna get my hopes up too much there. Texture archive, texture record. Custom activate. Oh, yeah. That. Custom activation. That's all the same, basically, so give an archive and a record. So in this case, 810 0. Yeah, so now that's the proper overload for texture archive, texture record. It should be of that, at least. Okay, well, it doesn't look like it did much as usual, but this potentially is a pretty big step for me, even though there's a lot more steps I need to do, a whole lot more. But for me, this was something I've never done before. But I'll have to see next time, in the next time I do one of these coding videos, which hopefully tomorrow I'll see. Next time I make more progress, I can hopefully see if this actually works. As I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting, is just to go into a cemetery dungeon when I actually have this mod, like, properly activated and loaded, whatever. And then any random treasure pile in there, which there should be at least a few in any cemetery, and pretty quick to access, should be replaced with this texture instead of whatever it has. I don't know if it'll still work. It probably should, but then I'll have to go from there basically to change out the other things that I want to do, and especially the custom activation. I'm gonna have to see how that might work or not. But yeah. Somehow this recording is already at like 51 minutes. Somehow. So, yeah, even though it doesn't seem like it did much, it feels like I actually made some, not big progress, but it did a pretty decent thing that I wanted to get done. So, that's good, I guess. Hopefully should replace loot pile billboard with my custom one provided. All right. So I'm going to save that for now. I'm going to close out of here. And I'm going to add this to the GitHub, or to the Git, yeah, to the what is it, to the Git the repository, whatever, for the mod. Even though this texture is not complete, it needs the Unity metadata, it needs to be imported and everything, and it needs to have the metadata changed and all that stuff, as well as obviously when I want it to run and I want to test it, which I probably will tomorrow. I have to change the .dfmod.json to import this texture now. When I get all that stuff done, because otherwise it won't work. But that's not hard to do. I just have to remember to do it. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I'll turn the music off for now. But yeah. I didn't get too much done. It might seem, but it took like almost an hour somehow. But a lot of that was like reading a little bit and research and thinking. So yeah, that's just how, that's a part of it. That's the part of the modding experience that you're going to see if you actually do it, that a lot of videos don't show when they're just being like, look what I did. I coded all this stuff, copy and paste 6 times speed. And then it's just like, oh, look, it's all done. This, you actually see kind of the process going on, which, while maybe not the best way to do it, I think is not a terrible way to kind of appreciate it in a way and be prepared for that, and I don't know, relate to that instead of like some of these other YouTube ones where it's like, oh, look at what I did. This in reality took me 40 hours, but it, you know, I just made a video and it took like 10 minutes. Oh, they don't really show you the stuff beforehand or whatever, the process of getting there and all the steps between it, which I'm trying to kind of do here for, as I said, my own archival reasons, for my own purposes or whatever, as well as hopefully anybody that might find it useful that wants to make mods and such. But yeah, summary, kind of, we hopefully made it so a billboards in this case will be replaced by a custom texture, a custom billboard texture. And hopefully tomorrow, if I hopefully do another video for this, another mod making video, I will actually get into the Unity editor and do some testing with that and see if it worked, and then hopefully go farther from there. But yeah, as usual, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.